It all started in a quiet lobby where questions turned into tension. That night, the truth began to unravel, one frame at a time. The next day, the stakes got higher, but he stood his ground. Soon, his courage sparked a movement, and others joined the fight. Even when they tried to stop him, he found a way to keep going. In the end, his persistence proved that change is always possible.
Hello, my name is Aaron, and welcome to the first episode of Cripple Audits. Why the name Cripple Audits? Well, you can't see here, but I am in a wheelchair, and it's just a way of poking fun at myself. And the audits is because I plan on doing First Amendment audits in the state of Florida. And the idea for the first audit came to me while I was riding the Citrus Connection buses in Polk County, Florida. And when I got down to the Lakeland bus terminal, I saw the sign you see right here, which is the code of conduct for passengers riding on the Citrus Connection buses. And the first thing that popped out and really caught my attention was four: no weapons, flammable liquids, or explosive materials allowed. Well, obviously, I don't have a problem with the flammable liquids or explosive materials. However, being a gun owner who has concealed carried since 2008, um, when I saw the no weapons thing, it just got the wheels turning in my head. Um, the Citrus Connection is run jointly by the Polk County Board of County Commissioners and the Lakeland City Commission. Not sure what the other city commission's role is in the oversight of the Citrus Connection, but in the great state of Florida, um, you know, the state legislature decided to uh, do what they call the preemption law. And basically, the preemption law, how it works is that any and all legislation regarding gun ownership, not sure if it's gun ownership and weapons or possession and that kind of thing, and laws regarding firearms is explicitly reserved to the state legislature. So what that means is that before that went into effect, there were county and city ordinances that were a little more restrictive. One of the local towns here, I believe, had a local ordinance regarding shooting your firearm within the city limits. Now, the intent behind it was to keep people from firing a gun in a neighborhood with a lot of homes and a stray bullet going awry and hitting somebody it shouldn't. And although the intent was there and it was you know, done out of good reasons. The problem is let's say, you're from out of town, you come to this location and you end up in a situation to where you have to pull your firearm and use it in self-defense. Well, okay, great. It was in self-defense, but you fired a gun in the city limits, so you're going to jail. Um, so when I saw that and I thought about the preemption law, the first thing that popped into my head is that you know, city and county commissions can't legislate rules about weapons. And since the bus system is uh, basically a city and county agency, it looked to me like it might be in violation of the preemption law. So basically, I decided I was going to ask some questions, and that's what I did. So I've got some video here of my visit to the Citrus Connections main office. And I went there mainly so that way I could get the disabled bus rider pass. And when I got the paperwork from that to give to my doctor, I started asking some questions. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you now this is the first video I've done, and it's going to be clunky. Apologize for that, but it is what it is. I'm sure I'll get better as I go. Anyway, here is the video of my visit to the Citrus Connection. I think.
This building right here,
Uh-huh.
that's where you're gonna go and drop it off at.
Okay.
Okay? But take that, but the doctor has to fill out page number 4 and 5.
Yeah, I have a doctor's appointment coming up.
Okay?
One other question: do you have like a copy of the code of conduct for riders, like the signs they have posted at the bus stops that shows like the rules and the code of conduct for passengers? You don't have that. Is there somebody I could talk to that would have it?
Code of conduct.
Yeah, yeah. It's like there's a sign at like the bus terminal. But you know, I just wanted to see if there was any updated material. Hi.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you doing?
Okay. Can I help? I'm Carolina, I work with Anna in the Safety Security Department.
Uh-huh.
Can I help you?
Yeah. I just wanted to know if you had a like a copy of the sorry, short-term memory, the code of conduct for the riders, like what y'all have posted at the terminals.
Yeah, we don't have copies to hand out.
Okay.
I could. Mm,
I mean, but the ones at the terminal, those are like current. Those are the current rules.
yes, sir.
Okay.
Something happened?
Not yet.
Well,
One of the rules I noticed happens to be illegal, and I'm going to basically send a demand letter and demand that Citrus Connection rectifies it, because the like Rule 4, which prohibits weapons, including firearms, is it's illegal under state of Florida's preemption law, which makes all local county and city ordinances that are in contradiction to state's preemption makes it illegal. So because this is what it's operated by the city, but it's a county thing. Who exactly is over like the Citrus Connection? Is it the city of Lakeland or is it county commissioners? So the Lakeland Commission. Okay, okay. Do you know who I would contact about that to talk to them about it, or send a letter?
I can let you talk to my supervisor. She's the director of safety and security. And then maybe we can go from there. You want me to give you your name and number?
Yeah, that'd be great. My name is Aaron Scott, Aaron Scott.
AARON
Uh huh.
SCROTC.
Scott.
Oh, SCOTT. Okay, I'm sorry, Aaron Scott.
Oh, you're alright.
And your phone number?
And if you want to put my email address too,
Sure.
it's at gmail.com. Because it's like it's because of like me being hard of hearing and stuff like that. It's usually better to communicate through email because I can respond from my phone or desk or wherever.
Okay.
You know, it's just that. Do you know if there's like current policy or procedure in place for how, say, like a bus driver would handle a passenger that was, you know, carrying on the bus? Is there a procedure for them to follow?
If they were just random, something you could do is call base and try to get the bus cleared. But we've honestly, I've been here since 19, never had to deal with that. Yes, it is open carry, but
Well, no, it's not open carry. It's permitless concealed carry. But I've had a permit since 2008, and it's like, you know, I don't want a situation to where I am legally exercising my right to bear arms, although it would be concealed. I don't want that to cause any stress, confrontation, or anything. So I'm trying to nip that in the bud.
it wouldn't. I'm sure we have people carrying concealed,
Oh, of course.
and we've never had an issue.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just that as far as that, you know, rule number 4 that I saw, you know, as far as that, it just needs to be like 86, you know, and that's all. That's all.
Okay, I'll give you. I'll give her this information and see where we go from there. Okay.
All right, sounds great.
Nice to meet you.
Nice
Have
to
a
meet you
great
too.
day,
You
okay?
too. Thank you.
Here you go, Marilyn. You're welcome. Thank you. I got that pen off of her.
This is what the letter says. August 28, 2025, Mr. Aaron Scott, and it's got my email address up there. Dear Mr. Scott, thank you for reaching out to us and for sharing your concerns regarding the Code of Conduct provision stating no weapons, flammable liquids, or explosive materials allowed. We appreciate your perspective and the opportunity to review this matter in light of Florida Statute 790.25L. Now, I do want to say that in the beginning, when I started this and I started with my questions, I had no idea about this statute. So I had to look it up. But it says, which provides that a person traveling in a public conveyance may lawfully have a firearm or weapon if it is securely encased and not in the person's manual possession. In balancing this statute with our responsibility to ensure the safety of all passengers and employees, we will clarify our code of conduct as follows. Possession of firearms and other weapons is prohibited unless the firearms and other weapons are securely encased and not in the person's manual possession, in accordance with Florida law. Flammable liquids, explosives, or other hazardous materials are strictly prohibited. Our intent is to provide clear guidance that both respects the law and upholds a safe and secure environment for everyone using our services. Thank you again for bringing this to our attention. Your input helps us refine our policies while maintaining compliance with state law and our duty of care to all riders. Should you have further questions, please feel free to contact me directly. Sincerely, Anna Irvin, Director of Safety and Security, Citrus Connection. Then it's got our phone number and email address. Now, that's great. They, basically made the change to where they are in compliance with Florida law, but at that point, I didn't understand exactly what she meant. So I had to go look up the statute, which should be popping up here in just a second. Okay, now this is not the actual screenshot of the website. I, you know, basically cut and pasted into Microsoft Paint and just kind of, there was no need to go through the entire statute, just the meaty parts for what we're talking about. So this is chapter 790 regarding weapons and firearms. And 790.25, lawful ownership, possession, and use of firearms and other weapons. None, Section 1, Declaration of Policy. The legislature finds as a matter of public policy and fact that it is necessary to promote firearms safety and to curb and prevent the use of firearms and other weapons in crime and by incompetent persons without prohibiting the lawful use and defense of life, home, and property. And the use by United States or state military organizations and as otherwise now authorized by law, including the right to use and bear arms for target practice and marksmanship on target practice ranges or other lawful places, and lawful hunting and other lawful purposes. Section 2, lawful uses. Notwithstanding 790.01, 790.053, and 790.06, the following persons may own, possess, and lawfully use firearms and other weapons, ammunition, and supplies for lawful purposes if they are not otherwise prohibited from owning or possessing a firearm under state or federal laws. And now we get to the particular subsection, which is subsection L. And it says a person traveling in a public conveyance when the weapon or firearm is securely encased and not in the person's manual possession. So that's exactly what Anna said in the letter. And so that policy, although it wasn't clear, didn't necessarily violate the preemption law, which is 790.33. And, you know, because this law was done by the Florida legislature. Uh, but it brought up more questions. So let's let this play for a second. So one of the issues that I have is that I'm disabled. I am also pretty much riddled with arthritis, even though I take a supplement regimen that helps manage the pain and discomfort. However, it doesn't, you know, nothing in here quite explains what securely encased means. And it's like, securely encased in a car means in a zippered holster or in a holster with a snap on it. In Florida, you can carry it in your vehicle, in the glove box, loaded or unloaded. And, you know, you can, that would be considered securely encased. However, on a bus, I need to know what securely encased actually means because the only other option I have to wearing it on me is to put it in my backpack, which is on my back. And it being on my back is, you know, it's in the zippered backpack. I would consider that securely encased, but I want actual clarification on that. And it's like the other thing is in an emergency situation, like the one I'm going to show you here in just a few seconds, minutes, or whatever. Uh, you know, in an emergency situation where, say, I was being attacked, or if somebody else was being attacked on the bus, um, you know, having to get my backpack off my back and around, in front of me to where I could retrieve my firearm, I feel puts an undue burden due to my disability, mainly the arthritis, because it's hard for me to get the backpack on and off. I mean, I can do it, but sometimes I struggle with it. So it's like I feel like it's an undue burden when it comes to, you know, having to respond to an emergency situation where I'm violently being attacked or somebody else is being violently attacked. So, I have questions regarding that. Now, the one thing that I did find out is that in the Bruin case, which is like what it's the latest U.S. Supreme Court test of, firearm laws and restrictions. Basically stated that it's got to be something that is, has historical analog, and basically it means it's got to be rooted in a law that has existed in the United States since 1781 when the Second Amendment was ratified. And the law that they are relying on is a law from, I think, 1891. Might be wrong on the date on that one. Where it restricted carry on stagecoaches in the 19th century, because there was concern about people carrying a firearm, that hitting bumps in a stagecoach could set off a firearm. They could accidentally discharge and somebody could be injured, somebody could be killed. But the issue with that is, when it comes down to it, what happened a lot in the 1800s? Well, stagecoaches got robbed. And I'm pretty sure the banditos took full advantage of the fact that, you know, in order for somebody to travel on a stagecoach, they had to have their firearms securely encased or checked with the stagecoach driver. And in some jurisdictions, they actually had the sheriff, make sure that people's weapons were checked and they didn't have one on them before getting on the stagecoach. Well, in today's day and age, you know, the firearms that are out there, like my firearm in particular, it doesn't have a safety on it, but it has a oh shit, what's it called? Um, it's like the trigger is a pressure release trigger where basically there is a plate that is up in front of the firing pin. So you could literally take this gun, drop it out of a helicopter, which has been done, and it's not going to fire because it has that blocking the firing pin. So it can't make that connection to set off the blasting cap and discharge the round. Um, and it's like that, accidental discharge like that is rare. Usually happens in certain old revolvers and things like that. But you know, it again puts me into the precarious position of where, one, being in a wheelchair, unable to walk, run, stand mostly. Um, you know, in a situation like that, I would have little recourse, and restricting me from being able to quickly access it for self-defense. Like I said, it's an undue burden. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send a letter to James Uthmeyer, which is the Florida Attorney General, and I'm going to ask for clarification. And depending on his response, depending on his answer, I will decide whether or not I need to pursue this further. And I'll do a video either way. But, couple of things that I just want to go over is how quickly an incident could turn from completely benign to deadly, or dangerous. And there are two examples. One is a video of a man being attacked on a bus, and the other is um, uh, basically talking about Irina Karutska, who is the 23-year-old Ukrainian woman that fled the Ukraine after they were invaded by Russia and came over here to make a new life for herself. And she was just on the light rail in Charlotte, North South Carolina, I think. North Carolina, hell, I don't know. And some deranged fucking monster just suddenly stood up and stabbed her in the neck. And one of a thing that's going to haunt me for the rest of my life is just the picture I saw of her after she got stabbed the first time, looking up in shock and horror. And, there was like no blood, no gore, but that right there was just haunting. Um, you know, but again, I think that I shouldn't have to worry about my freedom to protect myself in the event of something like that. Now, the situation with Irina, even if she had been armed, that happened so fast and from behind, there would have been nothing she could have done. But I just think to myself, what if he would have started attacking other passengers on the light rail? So I'm gonna play this. And you know, the main point that I want to drive home after playing that video of the attack on the bus is that take a look. That gentleman in the back seemed like an elderly gentleman was attacked. I mean, I'm not sure what the attacker was yelling about when he's saying, "Give me my money, give me my motherfucking money." Don't know if it's somebody he knew that owes him money or that he thinks owes him money or if he was just committing a robbery. And the one thing that stands out the most to me is how nobody did anything to help or to intervene, which is a strong indicator of um, I'm going to have to rely on myself. And, I think that I should have the right to carry on a public conveyance just like I can carry in most places, except for airport terminals, courthouses, law enforcement buildings, and things in that nature. But I should have the right to protect myself when there is nobody that's going to be around to protect me. So I'm going to send that letter to James Uthmeyer. I'll let you know what he says in response and what I plan to do or not do from there. But anyway, apologize for how clunky this video was. But like I said, this is my first one. And, hopefully I'll get better at this as I get more experience with using the software that I'm using. Anyway, thank you for watching Cripple Audits. The most annoying part of the video for y'all is when I say, please like, share, and subscribe. And y'all have a good day.